Hi, this is Zak Mir with the US Chartbreakers here on Zak's Traders Cafe for Wednesday, the 29th of March. Starting off with the S&P, which is still in that little range between the 50 and 200-day moving averages. The 200-day line around 39.30, the 50-day line around 4,010. We've got a resistance line there from February, also level with the 50-day line. So really looking for that, basically an end-of-day clearance through 40.20. That should do the trick in terms of then giving us a chance of testing up to 40.80 and then the 4200 area, which was the peak for February. At the moment, probably while we're above the 200-day line, technical glass half full, we've also got the RSI through the neutral 50 level as well. So looking for that breakout on at least 40.80 over the near term. A reasonable hammer candle yesterday as well, although the volatility right down. Moving on to the stocks, and starting off with AMC, which is familiar to most, I suppose. Here you can see that we've got the makings of a rising trend channel from back in December. The price action through the second half of March at least, actually crawling along the floor of that channel, waiting for an end-of-day close above the 50-day moving average, $5.50, to give us an initial target up to $7.30 at the 200-day moving average. Best case scenario target up to $9 by the end of next month if we get a quick clearance of that 50-day line. RSI just below neutral 50. We want to see it above 50 as the stock hopefully gets through the 50-day moving average. On to a stock which is perhaps rather less familiar to most. Here we've got Foghorn, and if I type in the correct letters, you can see that we've got a decent revival here off the floor of that broadening triangle from back in October. They're also a bear trap from below, or bear trap rebound from below the old December support area around $5.30. Above that, on an end-of-day close basis, initially looking to the 50-day moving average just near $6.50. Best case scenario over the next 1 to 2 months up towards $10, and the top of that late 2022 broadening triangle. That would also take out the 200-day moving average, which is obviously a key to this situation. I think we've been above the 200-day line since back in August, so when we had that rather nasty gap down. So chances are here of a turnaround, which could be lasting if we get through that 50-day moving average quickly. Next stock is Inozyme, where we've already managed to get towards the first target here around $5. A nice breakout over the last few sessions, and the longer we stay above the initial March resistance around $3.30, the greater the chance of move towards $5. Best case scenario is that we get an acceleration here towards the resistance line projection from this time last year, basically at $8.30. We could see that maybe by the end of next month if we get a quick clearance of the $5 level. This stage only well below 330 really delays or cancels out the upside scenario. Another stock which is on the front foot at the moment is IHS Holding, and here a nice trendline break and also a 200-day and 50-day moving average break to boot. Trendline break may be more significant, but that ties in with the 50-day line break at $7.65. Above that, we're looking for the shares to basically get back up towards the pre-July breakdown area of $10. Best case scenario target here up to $12 by the end of next month. But the real win here is the way that we've gapped up through the 200-day moving average, and we've actually maintained that rather well, already up at yesterday's highs for the shares. A stock which is equally looking helpful for the bulls at the moment is Intra-Cellular Therapies. Another gap through both the through the 200-day moving average, at least gap from the 50-day line. Broken a trend line there, negative trend line there, down trend line there from back in basically this time last year. And the view now is that the longer we stay above the old November resistance area around $55, the greater the chance of a move to the top of that rising trend channel, for 2-year rising trend channel as high as $74 over the next 1 to 2 months. Hopefully we would get the kind of move that we saw at the beginning of last year, which was pretty strong. At this stage, only back well below 55, as I said, delaying the improving situation at Intra-Cellular. Looking on to another stock and moving on to another stock, we've got Laser Photonics, and this one looks pretty dynamic as well. Not much of a charting history, but what there has been pretty powerful. You can see that the good times here really started with the unfilled gap to the upside there back at the end of December. Another unfilled gap came through pretty soon after in January, and we've now managed to echo that strong dynamic during the course of March. You can see the unfilled gap to the upside yesterday, and that suggests that we could easily head up towards the top of the rising trend channel of the last 6 months or so. That's heading towards $10, and hopefully we could see that by the end of next month. If you're cautious, you'd wait for a clearance of around the $7.20 area, which was that peak. $7.19 was the peak at the beginning of last month. So an end of day close or weekly close above that should then accelerate the process towards the $10 area. On to another situation, which I think I've covered quite recently, Loop Industries. Here the situation is that we've had good clearance of the 50-day moving average, and then a clearance of basically the early 2023 resistance, initial 2023 resistance at $3 and $2.98 to be precise. Above that, on an end of day close or weekly close basis, we could hit that resistance line there from back in October as high as $4.40 by the end of next month. Nice indication there with the rising 50-day moving average and also the bear trap from below February support at $2, giving extra bullish points for the bulls at the moment, or the longs at the moment, let's say. Next situation is Nextnav, and here it's another bear trap situation. The bear trap in this case from below the old June support there, that was around $1.90, and bullish divergence as well, so a lower low for this month, but a higher RSI trace. That should give the shares enough momentum to at least head back towards the support zone at 250 before the shares broke down earlier this month. So it looks like a nice U-turn there for the shares of Nextnav over the near term. Stock which is looking quite encouraging at the moment is Pyxis Oncology, and here we've gapped up higher to start the week and heading for that the top of that broadening triangle there from May last year at $6. Hopefully we'll see that over the next 2 to 3 weeks, something like that. We're in the run up to a cross between the 50 and 200-day moving averages, and if you look closely, you'll see that both are rising at the moment. So that's the run up to a golden cross, normally the strongest part of the cycle, and that has been the case now. And the view now is that only back below the initial resistance of the week around $3.50 would delay the move towards $6 over the next few weeks. Just a couple of shares to go now. First one is one which I suppose is quite topical given the recovery in gold, US Gold Corporation, and here we've hit the first of our targets there at that resistance line there from last year back in June, and above that and above today's low around $5.77, we're looking for the shares to have a new leg to the upside, maybe as high as $7.30. And that could be seen as soon as the end of next month. Ideally, there's no breakdown back below the pre-breakout level around the 540, 550 zone for shares of US gold. Finishing off with another stock which has got a bit of vibrancy to it, and here you can see why. Viking Therapeutics, unfilled gap to the upside, very strong move there, and we've got a resistance line projection from back in November heading towards $20. We expect that to be hit relatively soon, especially while we're above the $12.50 area, which is basically just in the region of the pre-breakout resistance. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.